Thank you, everyone. I am Celeste Barr with eXp Realty, and I am here with Mike Rundell with Success Lending. Our conversation today is going to be about credit repair and specifically bad advice that some people are getting. So, Mike, would you share with us your insights?
Thanks for having me, Celeste, and I'd love to. So, basically, when you are having credit struggles, people choose a few different areas. One is they go to a credit repair place where they ask you to not make payments on your debts. And so the reason they ask you to do that is they want you to go into default so they can talk to those credit companies and say, hey, these people aren't making payments. Can we look to pay pennies on the dollar to pay off your debt? Some of those lenders won't do that. The creditors won't do that. And when they do, you end up still paying. You're paying them, the company, just not paying the creditor. So you're destroying your credit. You know, a lot of times you can't do anything for 2 or 3 years after they destroy your credit. So, you know, rather than going to these companies that ask you not to pay the creditors, instead pay them the difference. What people should do in general is that if you've maxed out a line of credit, you should pay down those lines of credit. So rather than being 100% maxed out, your credit goes down because you've used up all your available credit.
Right.
So if you're able to pay it down to like 70% of the available or 60%, that will lower your credit risk, raise your credit score,
Right.
and allow you to improve your score. Now the other part is that when you are going to pay off a debt, make sure you contact the creditor because you want to get a letter from them saying the debt has been paid off, right? And you can even ask them, say, hey, if I'm going to pay off this debt, can you remove it from my credit report? Can you remove it?
Okay.
So things that you can do to help improve your score. When you want to, get the score rechecked, if we have those letters, we can send that to the credit bureaus and say, hey, this person paid it off. Here is their letter saying they've paid off their debt. And so they can rescore those.
Good to know.
Usually it takes 90 days for those bureaus to update that stuff. So if you have those letters, you can update it, almost immediately. So
I've never heard that, so I'm glad you're sharing the story of, reaching out to a creditor and saying, I want that letter stating that I have paid in full.
Yep.
That's awesome. And now we also hear about where you have a credit card and they are suggesting that you could pay it off, but you don't want to close it. Can you talk about that?
Well, again, it's all about available credit. The more available credit you have, right, the higher your score is probably going to be, as long as you're making routine payments.
Okay.
So if you're, rather than closing the account, you keep that credit account open, you're going to have a higher ability to borrow, which improves your score. So if you max it out, you lower your score. If you pay most of it off, you improve your score.
Okay. And do you recommend that people take those credit cards and put them someplace besides their wallet?
What do you mean?
The ones that are paid off?
I think they can use it again. It's just about being financially responsible.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, again, people want to be financially responsible. It's just something happens. They lose a job.
Right.
A debt comes up that they, their insurance doesn't pay and they have to pay it out of pocket. So I think, in general, what you want to do is you want to avoid, again, going to 1, credit repair agencies. 2, you want to pay down your debt to 70 or 60% of the available line of credit minimum. And 3, before you pay off all of your credit cards or whatever lender you have, make sure you're getting a letter for payoff of that debt. And if you have derogatory credit, late payments, call your creditor and say, hey, I'm going to make these payments. Can you remove this from my credit report? And some people will do that.
Okay.
Now, interesting story, just did a down payment assistance last year, and this poor lady had gone to a credit repair person and to repair the credit, repaired her credit, and they continued to charge her monthly for credit repair she didn't need. She wanted to cancel the service. They wouldn't allow her to cancel the service, so she stopped paying the service she was no longer using.
Oh, no.
And they started reporting her to collections for the money, ruining her credit after this.
Oh, no.
And then we literally contacted them and said, hey, can you please stop charging her? She's no longer using your services. And they said no. They're not going to remove the derogatory credit, and they're not going to stop charging her.
So what do you do then?
Take it to court, small claims court.
Oh my gosh.
But again, here you go, going to a credit repair place, and they're just taking advantage of you.
Oh
So
my
again,
gosh.
strongly urge not to do that. Just follow that credit advice. I mean, there are good companies out there that will not charge you and just advise you. Look for them. But anybody that wants you to make a payment or stop making your payments, avoid them at any cost.
Okay. And one last thought is on any of this credit repair. What about medical? You know, you have somebody that has high medical costs. They're paying, but they're not really getting ahead. Do you have any recommendation on that?
Well, I mean, again, if you are unable to keep up with your payments, there's always the option of declaring bankruptcy. Again, you'll destroy your credit for at least 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
So, I mean, again, if you have debt that you're never going to be able to pay, you can always call the creditor and say, hey, I can't pay this. I'm never going to be able to pay this, and see if they'll write it off. If they won't, maybe you have to go a legal route and doing a bankruptcy. Again, that's not my area of expertise, but 2 options that you can do.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mike. I appreciate your taking the time to talk about credit repair, and I'm glad we're all together. So stay tuned for any of our future videos. Thank you.